everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of The Joy of Being for busy working mums and women in business and beyond who are seeking to unplug from their worries and overwhelm to light up with insight and joy. I, your host, mum, and effortless lifestyle coach Marina Pearson, talk to transformational professionals, business owners, and creatives about what it really takes to have a business and life you can truly enjoy. If you enjoyed the show or had any questions, why not connect with me on Instagram at Marina Pearson? Look out for the show's meme and make a comment there, or just click on my story and ask me a question. Alternatively, you can find me on the Joy of Being Facebook group. And if you would like a more personalized touch to live a stress-free life, then why not find out more about the Joy of Being retreat, an intimate 4-day profound experience at a luxury venue in Javier, Spain, where you get to experience your inner calm and peace of mind by slowing down and making space. To find out more, email me at marinapearson.com with Joy of Being Retreat in the title. And on today's show, I have the lovely Carla-Marie Latte. I met Carla on Facebook, as most of the people that I meet, and I got curious about her business. She runs something called My Bump to Baby, which is the UK's fastest growing baby, toddler and family directory in the UK. She launched it to fill a gap, actually, and brand represents thousands of classes, groups, events and businesses to busy parents looking for something within their area. And it's an amazing directory, and it aims to become the go-to place for all things baby, toddler and family related. Now, for those of you that are listening that aren't in the UK, what she has to say is relevant for you too, if you've got a side hustle. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're working a job, but yet you've got something on the side, a business that you would love for that to take over your income from the job, then this is going to be a great episode for you, because we talked about what it takes actually to create a side hustle that actually works. We talk about the pitfalls. We talked about what to look for if you're looking for a side hustle business, and what are the ingredients to make sure that you're successful at it. And obviously, Carla has an amazing story to tell because she's been through it, and she started this as a side hustle business and has expanded it into this incredible value add experience for parents in just the last 2 years. So if you're curious about having a side hustle business, if you've got one already, but you'd love to know how to turn it into your main income, then this is going to be a great episode for you. So Carla, it's beautiful to have you on here today on another amazing episode of The Joy of Being. And as I've already mentioned in the intro, you've got an amazing business. And I know we decided we were going to sort of follow on to talk about how do you marry the joy of doing business with what you love and making money with it. So I know that you've actually obviously got this amazing business that you absolutely love, and talking about the sweet spot here today of what you love and actually what you're really good at and how to make sure that, you get it right. So welcome.
Hi, I'm really excited to be on here because I'm a big fan of this podcast. Really looking forward to talking to you.
So Carla, a place I love to start is what got you passionate about what you do? Because I know that you've had quite an amazing journey in terms of where you are today as opposed to where you were maybe even just a few years ago. So share a little bit about what some of the things that you've that really caught your eye with the business that you're currently working on.
Yes. So I had absolutely no idea that I was going to end up doing this. I've always had that little thing inside me where I've thought, right, I really want to do something. I want to make a difference. And I tried lots of different things, and obviously I didn't really find something that I really loved. But anyway, we'll go on to that later. But initially what it was is I actually had my son, he came early, and I personally suffered with postnatal depression, PTSD and anxiety. And I really struggled as a new mum. And something that I was advised to do was to get out and go to baby groups and classes and meet other parents and just really get out the house. So what I did is I was looking for different classes and groups to go to. And I found one and I thought, right, this is it. I'm getting out of the house. So as you all probably are aware, getting a baby out of the house is hard work, and getting yourself actually presentable is harder. So I got ready, got dressed, got there. And when I got there, I was told that the class was like 2 years out of date, which I couldn't believe, because it was, although it seems like a really small thing, to me, it was huge. And I just remember being really upset in the car park, and I just thought, this is ridiculous. But at that point, that's when I kind of thought, well, why isn't there a directory out there for pregnancy to preschool that kind of gives parents up-to-date classes, with honest reviews from other parents to, to kind of make sure they pick the right one for them. So that's how I came up with the idea. So although it was a bad time, it was actually a very good time looking back.
Wow. So isn't that interesting, right? So you didn't even know that you were going to create this business 2 years ago. I love that. I think that most of the things that I've created, I didn't know I was going to create, like this podcast, or earlier on this year, I created a personal finances made easy course, which I didn't know I was going to create either. Based on a spreadsheet I created, for myself. And I love the fact that, when I speak to most of busy mums in business who run really successful businesses, I would say that the majority didn't really know they were going to create that. No. It just kind of came to them in a moment. Yeah,
exactly. It's weird, isn't it? It's like it's like you're guided into this direction, and it's just when you find that thing that you love, you're pulled like a magnet, and you just can't get. You just don't want to be away from it ever again. So it's funny, really.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast today by Michael Neal, and he was talking about the 8+. And what he talks about is how our enthusiasm actually has a massive magnetic pull towards attracting more opportunities and people to us. And it kind of made me sort of reflect, on that, and the idea that, we get up every morning and it's like, oh, another day, or, oh my God, it's another day. Yay!
Yes, absolutely.
And how we show up. So I'm curious about that, Carla. Would you, does that resonate for you? Would you say that because the way you're being has a massive impact on what you attract?
Yes, absolutely. I 100% believe that. It's really funny you say that, actually, because I never realized that it really does. It's how gosh, don't get me wrong, I love a lie-in and I love all that. But, if you get up early in the morning and you have like a really good kind of routine going on saying that, I do need to work on this a bit. I find I wake up in a positive place. And if you can kind of just be positive about and talk about your business with, enthusiasm and how much you love it, I think people can really feel that. And I think the vibe it does attract more people to your business.
Yeah. Initially, that's what attracted me to you was your vibe, your capacity, your willingness to collaborate and support others. I think that really, really, really strikes a chord, especially if you're wanting to sort of grow and create partnerships. So that's definitely something that I've noticed. And the other thing I was going to ask you, yeah.
Thank you. No, that's something that I'm really keen to do, really, is work with and work together with a lot of other, business owners, because I think a lot of it is people that can be, I think, you can be very not you. We can, as business owners, we can be a bit selfish and think, oh, this is all mine. I've created this. I'm not willing to help anyone or that. And what happens is no one's willing to help you. And I think it's about working together to join forces to create something incredible instead of having something mediocre. And that's what happens.
Yeah, I love that. The other sort of question that springs to mind with this is obviously, anybody that's listening in, okay, so this podcast is for busy mums who are stressed, it goes beyond having a business. They might be at work, who might be thinking about starting a business, what would you say like the three most pieces of ingredients are, for example?
Well, I would say love what you do, because I only know this from experience as well. I always had, as I mentioned before, this itch inside me where I thought, I want something different. I'm going to create something great. And I tried so many things. I mean, God, some of the things that I did actually are cringy. Like, I actually sold money bags on eBay. Like, I don't even like money bags. I don't know why I did it, but I had this vision in my head. Oh, I'm going to sell money bags. All I have to do is sell 1 million for £1 at a time, and I'll get there. And I was chasing the money. That's the second thing I'd say is don't chase the money. Chase what you love. Again, it's all about having something, a bit of an idea of something that you love, your passion, your dream. Follow that, and I think you will definitely succeed. But on saying that, I've probably not said 3 things there, have I? Go off on a tangent
that comes to mind.
Sorry.
You're not going to get it wrong. Don't worry. Is there another one that comes to mind?
Another one is, I'd say also be mindful that it isn't as easy as, what everyone sees is the final product of things. And that's something I've really learned is, although, your customer will see the final product, like listening to this podcast, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and it's just making sure that you've got the time that you want to dedicate to it. And also you can put a lot of time into it, because you do need to put a lot of time into your business, although you can love things and it's great. And I'm sure you'll do well with it. But, I think the secret is, you will have late nights, and you will, have days where you think, oh, am I doing the right thing? And it's just a case of you've got to make sure you've got the determination to just carry on those days that aren't quite, aren't working out for you quite well. And also doing something you love, but also being realistic with your mindset and thinking, have I really got the time? I mean, if you're working already 2 jobs and you've got a baby, I mean, that's frigging amazing, but it's just, are you going to fit in having this business? Or maybe perhaps you could start it a little bit as a bit of a sideline, and then build it up when you're ready. It's just taking things, try not to put too much pressure on yourself again when you decide you're launching a business. I suppose I've gone off on a tangent, haven't I? Talked far too much.
No, not at all. Because it kind of reminded me of the conversation we had a few weeks ago, which is you started this as a side hustle, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I actually started this. I mean, I was on maternity. I'd literally had my son, and I think it was a couple of months after I started this, and it started as a bit of a blog. And my intention was always to go back to work. And so I just wanted to make a bit extra money, just for us to do nice things on the weekend. And gradually it built from there, really. And I think a lot of businesses do start as a bit of a side hustle, really. And it's a good thing, because you're not putting too much risk and too much money into something before it's actually, once you've got your side hustle, if that's really working and you can afford to kind of drop a few hours at work here and there, you're going in the right direction, aren't you?
So it goes back to, so if somebody's thinking, okay, I want to do a side hustle, they're working a full-time job or something of that nature. I want to go back to what you said about chasing the money or not chasing the money, because I know that this has happened to me so many times. In fact, when I first started out, I was invited into doing a MLM, multi-level marketing type of business with supplements, for example. And little did I know that I was actually chasing the money. Like, I love the products. What I was really interested in was making the money. Now, obviously, you've got a business, you want to make money from it. I get that. But I really, if I was really honest with myself, the reason why I chose it was because I thought it was guaranteed income. So I'd love you to talk more about chasing the money, and if you've had any experience of that, and what have you learned from those experiences? Because I know that I've met a lot of mums who work in that do have forever living, and I'm not dissing it down at all. I'm I'm just curious about, often we don't even know we're making decisions based on the wrong reasons. So I'm curious about what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny you mentioned that, actually, because I actually did do Tropic for a little while.
Oh, you did?
I did. And you know what? Skincare, love it, but I take my makeup off with a baby wipe every night. And that's, skincare isn't my passion. But at the time, I was exactly the same as you. I had a meeting with someone, a lovely girl, and she was so passionate about it. And you know what? I heard the passion in her voice. Probably when you can tell that someone loves their business, you can really hear it. And I almost wanted a bit of that for myself, to be honest with you. And I thought, wow, she sounds, and then she started telling me figures. Well, that sold me, really. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And of course, I think the thing with the MLM schemes is the person telling you is not lying. They are making that money, but they are also putting a lot of work in. So I think, I've done a lot of things. Gosh, I could tell you those money bag things. I've sold gym starter kits. I've sold hem party bags, nails, spray tans, honestly, the lot. And none of them did I really wake up and think, oh, I love that. I love that product. I didn't. It was all for the money and none of it worked. And it's because I think with your business and your side hustle, I think it really needs to be, there's that many opportunities out there now that if you, instead of going to the first one that comes to you and says, come on, you can make this, look into loads of different ones. There's travel companies, there's skincare, there's health products, there's so many things. So look for, your passion, because you will ultimately make more money doing something that you actually love and you've actually got passion for. And although you chase the money, it works for a short amount of time, but eventually you burn out. And if you don't love your business, that burnout can actually mean the end of your business when it comes to it, because you don't have that thing where you wake up in the night with ideas and your head's bursting and stuff, because you don't care, because really you do just want the money. And I think you will, it's easy to think like that. God, I've done it loads of times, but you have to really love what you do. And that is so important.
That's so, yeah. And I kind of my experience of it has been a bit like shiny penny syndrome, where it's like, oh yeah, the money. And then you kind of justify it with the love of what you're up to, as opposed to it coming from where you're coming from, as in you're really enthusiastic about what you're up to. And then the money just comes because you're putting the time and the energy.
It's like, oh, sorry.
No, go for it. Mm-hmm.
I was just going to say, it's very like, when you see this diet and you're like, wow, they lost that much weight in like 7 days, and your money's on, you're thinking, wait, I want a quick fix. But we all, as much as we love the idea of a quick fix, they don't last. And I think, time, you have to invest a lot of time to get things to work. And we all love a quick fix. God, I will buy one this summer. I'll end up, on something where it's going to make me thin in about a day. But we're all sold on that idea, and it's easy to see someone else doing it and just think what they do looks easy, but there's a lot more behind the scenes, like I mentioned earlier, that actually goes on with that product or with whatever you're selling. And it's like, if you don't love it, you won't want to do all that nitty gritty rubbish, would you? You just don't want to. You want to get the money, but the behind the scenes bit, there's a lot more work that's involved, really.
Yeah, totally. And it's basically keeping up that momentum, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And gosh, don't get me wrong, even where I'm at now in comparison to a few years ago, I have days where I think to myself, oh, for God's sake, I just want to go and work back in a bank, or, and actually finish work when you've come away, be somewhere where you can come away and you say, right, I'm done for the day. And there's no stress, I think, well, it was I loved my job at the bank, where I was just basically dealing with money. And at the end of the day, I could actually think, oh, what do I want for tea tonight? Or what do I want to watch on TV or whatever? And like some days, gosh, still now I think to myself, it is hard. But I think the thing that keeps you getting out of bed and keeps you plodding on is because you love it. And if I didn't love this, then I would have given up years ago,
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, right? It's like something that doesn't leave you alone. It's a bit like it keeps tapping you on the shoulder, or it keeps bringing you back. Yeah. That's the way I feel about coaching and connecting, and, this podcast, and, all the transformational work that I do. And while it's been a side hustle more than it's actually been a focus of my life, I really realized that this year, for example, if I just place a little bit more focus on it, it may well grow into something that really is worthwhile. So it's a bit like, so I'm just kind of, because it might be that someone's listening in and going, how do I know the difference? How do I know the difference between something that is really aligned to who I am, and I'm doing it because it's like it's where I want to be, as opposed to me chasing the money. Mm-hmm. And what I would say, I guess, from what you're saying too, is that it just, there's a sense of it doesn't leave you alone. Like, you wake up in the night and you've got these ideas, and you try as you may, you want to get away from it. You always kind of circle back to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's so bizarre. I mean, the only way I can explain it is, I mean, maybe you get this from listening to me when I talk about it. I get this real energy, like in my chest, where it just will not go. And it's like this excitement. It's like being in love, isn't it? That's the only way I can explain it. It's like being in love. But within a second, you hate it, you want to leave it, you're like, no, I've had enough. But then, you can't, because you love it. And that's the way I describe it, really. It is really a feeling that you just get in your bones or in your body, where you just think, I love this thing and I want to tell everyone about it. And if you've got that, I do think then you maybe are on the right lines of what you want to do.
Yeah, because I think a lot of what holds us back as women is, the promotion, or I don't want to promote, or I don't want to be a burden on anybody. Would you say that's true?
Oh, absolutely. I think I really feel for MLM schemes, really, and businesses like that, because I know personally from using products from myself, they've all got fantastic products. But I think the problem being sometimes is what happens is they can tend to get a bad reputation, because what happens is you get someone, who obviously is chasing the money, like I did years ago. And you as well. And when it's not worked, and when that passion and drive has run out, you've invested into this business, and you've kind of run out, and people don't like to admit that they have maybe messed up by picking the wrong thing in the first place. And what they automatically do is blame perhaps the business. And then the more people that do that, the worse it looks. So everyone has got a massive phobia of joining these MLM schemes. And I think if it works for you, great, because it can absolutely bring you an income. But all I say is you just have to be very mindful that you do picking the right thing that you love, and I've forgotten actually what the question was.
No, it's absolutely fine. You pretty much answered it anyway. So if someone is actually looking to have a side hustle, where would they start?
I think research. I mean, from our directory that we've got a lot of work from home opportunities on there, and we often get businesses to write articles about what they offer, so that you can. I mean, I think there's a natural fear in people, isn't there, where when it's the word MLM, people hide away. And even if they're curious, they daren't message someone saying, tell me a bit more about what you do, because they think they're just going to be jumped on. But I think what we try and do is write a couple of articles, or go on the internet and search, what is it like to work for this company, and have a bit of a read and find out before you dive in. And you I suppose you're sold to by the wrong company, really, because it's all well and good. People can kind of tell you, they can say, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great, this is great. And everyone will obviously tell you all the good things, but you want to know both sides, don't you? And so you've got a way to weigh it up, because there are businesses out there you wouldn't even know exist, like jewelry kind of MLM schemes. It's not just those other products as well. There's tons out there. So you've just got to make sure you find the right one for you. So I'd say research, and if you do have a friend, that you can kind of speak to about it, I'd do that. I wouldn't ask anyone else who's done it previously for their opinion, because I do think that can be, people don't like to admit they failed a lot of the time and will blame, I do it. God, I do it a lot. If I've done something wrong, it's easy to pass the blame and say, oh, well, that didn't happen for me because of the website kept going down, or the website wasn't working right, or something. It's easy to pass the blame when you fail, because it's to save face and it's a natural thing to do. But what I would say is I'd probably just look at it with fresh eyes, perhaps not go to someone that has left a company already, maybe not even someone that's working there already, because they will tell you the good things. Perhaps just have a look on the good old Google and have a good search on there, and just make sure you read all about it, and then maybe take that step further to inquire more.
Because I know also there are amazing opportunities in terms of franchises, not just multi-level marketing type business models, where a lot of mums I know, decide to go that route, because franchises, what they've done is they've systemized, and you have all the SOPs, which is the standard operating procedures. So you don't have to do any of that. You just have to follow the manual.
Yes. I think franchises are a fantastic way to kind of launch a business. There are other ways you can do it, which we're doing with ours, like having ambassador roles. So although it's classed as their own business, they can run it as their own. There's no kind of real risks. And, there's a few options, but the franchise one is fantastic, because I think what you're doing there is you're almost, yes, you are investing a bit to begin with, but you've already invested in a company that's probably quite well known, a company that a lot of people know about. And then if you're bringing it to your local area, all of a sudden it's a new business, and you have to build up that brand and that name, because that can be quite costly. But yeah, franchises is a very good option.
Yeah. Are there any other types of, and obviously then there's an idea that you have, which you then want to run with, which is what you've done?
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any others, really. I know, I'm trying, I always say to people, if you're thinking of starting your own business, depending on what it is, I'd always have a bit of a blog alongside it if you've got time to, because I think that works really, really well, a blog alongside a business. Because at the end of the day, when you're a shop or a business, it's hard to engage with your audience because you're just a shop. So you're seeing these people walk past day in, day out on your Twitter, on your Instagram, whichever way you do it. But what you're not doing is bringing them into your shop. So a blog, for me, I describe it as a window. That is your window dress, if you like. And you want to get people into your shop. So you want to write about articles that is really related to your product, or perhaps it will bring in the people that are interested in your product. So they're now in your shop, if you know what I mean. And they're interested, they're engaging, they're reading your content. And they're more likely then to buy from you, instead of just jumping on them. Do you want to buy this? I get loads of messages on Instagram, actually, like, you've liked my picture, do you want to buy this? And it's like, oh, it is, to be honest, it is a bit off-putting sometimes. And I think if they had a bit of a blog and I was interested in that, I was reading a bit about, say, skincare, I was actually, and then maybe they could say, that maybe then, I'll go back and I'll think, oh, I liked reading that blog. I'll go back, and then I see that they've got a product on there, and then it's still in my choice, if you know what I mean, to buy. So I think a blog's a really good way to support your business, and you're not forcing it down people's throat either. And you're also building up a good following.
Yeah, absolutely. You are. I'm curious about something you said earlier on, these ambassador roles. Can you share a little bit more about what those are?
Oh, yes, of course. So with My Bump to Baby, it's obviously a nationwide directory. So we have lots of thousands of different groups, classes, businesses. We write reviews on products, days out, etc. Now, with me having this business, obviously, with it being nationwide, it's very, very time consuming. And I can't give it as much time as what I want, really. I mean, it's working wonderfully as it is, and I could just leave it as it is. But what I wanted to do, and I'm really passionate to do, is to create jobs for mums working from home, mums or dads. I don't like to kind of say both of them, really. And what it will be is I've just launched it in my local area, actually. So it's the directory, but we've enhanced a certain area. So at the moment it's Lancashire, but we'll be having them all over the country. So how it'll work is a mum or dad can work from home. And they keep up to date with the local directory, what's on, write reviews, etc. And what they do is they run their own business. It'll work on a commission basis, so businesses can add free listings. If you're a pregnancy to preschool business, please do add a free listing anyway, because we get a lot of parents looking for things like that. But what it will be is a role for a parent, ideally a parent, who wants to work around the family, to put on local groups, classes, events, and share it on their own Facebook page, My Bump to Baby Facebook page, with their audience. And there's ways, basically how our directory works is all businesses can add a free listing. And then if they want to enhance that, they can have a featured listing. We're soon launching our booking system, so parents can actually book classes through our app and our website as well. So there's that side of things. And we also write reviews as well and accept guest posts, etc. So that's going to be a role that we're going to be launching and rolling out across the country. There's around 318 territories that we've kind of found that we want to kind of cover, and that's our next goal. So if you are interested in that, if there's not already someone in your area by the time you listen to this, please do just let us know, and we can give you some more information.
That's a great idea, actually. So basically what you're saying is that they take over that particular territory, and then they look after it. So they get advertisers or whatever to come in. So you don't necessarily have to look after that. You've got your ambassadors that look after that particular local area.
Exactly, because the ultimate goal and the reason why I did this was because I found a class that was out of date. Now, what I found is, obviously, because we've got thousands of listings in there, is someone going to tell me if a baby group that they put on as a free listing has ended? So as much as I keep on top of them, I ring them, etc., there's only so much that I can do. So if someone's in each area, it would be fantastic for us, and they can run. There's lots of ways they can make money. As I said, the featured listings, the booking system, the reviews, but we've also they can do networking meetings, mum-to-mum markets. There's a lot of different ways, and we're going to be having also a My Bump to Baby for Business section soon, where we'll have quite a lot of different things on there too.
That's amazing, Carla. And so it sounds like a lot, right? Because you've also got a little one. Do you have people that help you? I mean, do you have a team?
Well, do you know, it's really funny, actually. I've only just now taken on someone to take over some of my calls, because what I do is we offer town by town advertising at the moment. So basically how it works is if a parent came on in, say, Manchester, and they were searching for pregnancy classes, antenatal, hypnobirthing, baby massage, etc., we've got 7 adverts that come up on our website and our app. No matter what parents are searching for. And basically, I sell those adverts at the moment, and we offer complete exclusivity. So we only have one business of each type on those search results. But that's what I do by day, and by night, I'm literally reviewing, keeping the directory up to date, deleting things, adding things. So I needed to take someone on to kind of manage some of those calls, really, because we're just getting far too busy. So at the moment, I've just got one other member of staff that's managing the calls, but we're looking to up that in the next couple of months. And then it'll be a case of launching these ambassador roles to kind of look after their own area and run their own directory. Because I know it's a job that a lot of parents like the idea of, is having their own directory. But when you look at it, to have an app and a website directory, it costs an absolute bomb. So it's a way to kind of give them that in their own local area to look after. But yeah, that's how it'll work anyway, so that hopefully we won't need a massive team of people, because we'll have our own team within people working from home. I suppose that way, and I won't need an office then. That's something that a lot of people have said, you want an office, and I thought, no, I think, we're in that kind of stage of our lives where the beauty of this job is to kind of offer flexible working to parents. And I think, having an office, you can only have it in one place then, can't you? And I really want people all over.
That's so true. And I guess, I'm reading this a really great book called The Mother of All Jobs. And she talks about this issue where, you've got mums who work in corporate jobs who basically, they weren't mums, and then they become a mum, and then they go back to their corporate job, and it's just a nightmare for them because they now have to deal with everything, the job and the children, when they get home. And so it would seem to me that flexibility is really the answer here, because of course your life completely changes after you have a child. So what I'm really hearing you say is that your business is a vehicle to bring about more flexibility for mums, i.e. parents, for them to have a much more balanced lifestyle to the one that they probably would have had if they had to go back to the corporate job, because a lot of the time they're not flexible.
Absolutely. And the hard thing is for parents, I mean, I was in this situation myself. I literally had just qualified as an accountant just before I had my son, and my role was full-time. Now, I never planned on getting pregnant or anything. And what it was is they said you can come back, but it needs to be in a full-time position because we can only offer what you had before, really. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I mean, why would you? I mean, it depends on people's personal circumstances. But for me, why would I, when I didn't have any responsibilities, be working part-time when I could have worked full-time before? So a lot of people are going to be in the same situation where they're full-time and they've got to return to that full-time work. But then, when you think of nursery fees and all that, it's just mind-blowing, really, at how much you actually have to fork out before you actually earn a wage yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you speak about it, it sounds to me like it's kind of you take the first step and then you take the next step, and you're pretty much doing what makes sense to you in the moment of how you want to keep growing it, shifting it. Would you say that's how it's working out for you?
Yeah, it's funny actually, because so many things have changed. Like when you start your business, you have a completely different mindset of where you're going to be in a couple of years, and I'm in a completely different place, but in a better place, because you let the business guide you, if you know what I mean. Because initially, not everything is smooth sailing. Initially, we had thousands of listings in the directory, and we introduced the featured listing option, which was fantastic, but it wasn't there wasn't as many people wanting to do that as there is the maximum exposure option, and that was the reason why we introduced different options. So the directory, I mean, although you want to grow things quick when you love them, there can be a real problem with doing that, because it's a case of you want to do it, but actually if you move too quickly it may not work, which is why this ambassador role is great. That's our aim, but if that changes, I'm not, we'll never, don't stick at something too long that's not working. So if that didn't work for me and the business, and it wasn't beneficial to parents, which I think it should be, I would just not do that. The beauty of having your own business and having, whole custody of it, if you like, and not having an investor, is the fact that you can make those changes as and when you want. If I decided, right, I'm not having that anymore, it goes, it's just a case of adapting to your surroundings and the changing of how technology works, especially with ours. It is all about technology, and it's just evolving as much as you can, really. And perhaps things don't go to plan, but sometimes that's a fantastic thing, and it actually opens up so many more opportunities. So, yeah.
I love what you just said. Sometimes things go according to plan. And really what I hear and what you say, Carla, is that you don't spend much time thinking about how didn't work out. It sounds to me that you're pretty pragmatic about the situation where something is, you give it a go and you're like, oh, well, that didn't work out, but look what happened as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, all these obstacles that are put in your way. I'm honestly, I really do strongly believe this. Maybe you're listening now and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I really want to give this up. Obstacles are just obstacles, because sometimes what happens is you can have the best idea because you've been put in a situation where maybe you're not making money, maybe it isn't going to plan, and you're actually having to think outside the box, if you like. And you actually think, what else can I do? And slowly what happens is you create an absolute machine of a business by just thinking a little outside the box and being put in those awful situations. At the time, you hate it. But now I'm so thankful for every day that I have struggled, because I've thought of something else, a better way that the business could work.
Yeah, here's the plan, here's what really happened. And they often don't look very alike. In fact, they don't look alike at all. Because we can all have an intention of what we want something to look like. And then we can't foresee the unpredictable. So I think we just need to accept that there are going to be things that get in the way, but they're actually there to show us something, to help us grow, to make us sort of expand our awareness around that particular area, so that we have a much deeper understanding of how things work and where we get stuck and how we can shift those things as well. Because, I mean, it's very much around mindset, but also, business is around mindset. I can't really... Like if you're in a place where you're unconfident, you're not promoting, you're not getting yourself out there, it's not really going to happen. Now, having said that, of course, you can feel the fear and do it anyway, but also to acknowledge that it's not going to go according to plan necessarily. And we've got to be okay with that, right? Like we've got to expect that things won't go according to plan and actually see the value in that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's such, I honestly would go back now and I'd be thankful for those times where things haven't gone to plan, because if things just were smooth all the time, then you wouldn't evolve, you wouldn't get better, you wouldn't grow, you wouldn't look at other options. And it is just all about just riding that storm, because it is a storm, having your own business or being in, like you say, a busy job, where your job's always changing and stuff. And perhaps sales, you're in a sales role where sales, you're not getting them at the moment. But what you'll do is you'll adapt your sales pitch, you'll look at things a different way, perhaps target people in a different way, and ultimately you're going to actually be better than what you were before, because you've grown and you've kind of adapted to your own situation. And I do really think that.
Yeah, it's not what happens, it's who you become in the process. That's kind of what I really hear.
Yeah, I think so, definitely.
I'm curious, what have been some of those obstacles for you? And what's happened as a result? Like, could you give me an example?
Yeah. I mean, right, let's have a look now. So I recently, in fact, I'll go back to the first obstacle that I had. Now, initially, the directory, we obviously offer free listings, as I've already mentioned, and we had loads in there. And it got to the point where it was becoming a bit of a big job for me to manage. And at that point, I thought, I need to monetize this possibly, because I don't have time to carry on with this and go back to work. So I needed to monetize it. So the natural thing for me to do was to introduce, because the directory is so full, I had to introduce featured listings. So what that does, just in long and short of it, is basically it puts businesses to the top of their own category. So say, for example, you're looking for a newborn photographer and you'll get 30 in London or something. The businesses that pay to go featured will appear above all the free ones. So that was the first idea. And I thought, do you know what? If only, 5% of these do it, then, I am okay. I can not work and I can carry on with this. But that didn't happen. And I really thought it would. I thought, why wouldn't you do that? But in truth, people have spent their budget. People, you're a new business. They haven't yet bought into the whole concept of you. Yeah, it's no risk putting on a free listing, but Anyway, so it really disappointed me how initially that went. And that was when I thought of the town by town advertising, where we've got 7 adverts that come up on the app and the website, no matter what parents are searching for. Now, if that featured listing thing hadn't happened and people subscribed and I just earned a bit of money each month, now I would not have looked at something else, but I had to, because I was in a situation where it was like, right, I really can't go back to work and can't carry this on. So what do I do now? And I was forced to look at other opportunities. So that was the next thing. And that has been amazing. The feedback that we've had over 80% people renew again, which is fantastic from last year. So it is really, really working. And as we grow, it's just getting better and better. So that side of things, first of all, yeah, that was one of our first hurdles. And at the time I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I felt like embarrassed, because when you start a business, it's like you're telling everyone, you're screaming it from the rooftops. And the last thing you want to do is look like, you failed sometimes. And yeah, so that was the first hurdle, which I'm so thankful happened. Because it's grown us even more, and we've been able to invest so much more back into the business to grow it even more. So we've had loads of things. So that was the first thing. And the other thing that we've had, sorry, I'm going on now, but you don't mind, do you?
No, not at all.
The other thing that we had is we actually came finalist in a competition with Peter Jones. He was actually looking with Sage for the UK's most ambitious business. Now, we got to meet him, we got to ask him questions, which was amazing. And we came a finalist in that. Now, some people could think, oh, I didn't win, but actually being a finalist was amazing, because I got to meet a fantastic gentleman. He was the CEO of Sage, actually, called Stephen Kelly. And he has been an amazing mentor for me, still to this day. And so although I could have thought, oh, that didn't work out, what I did is I made sure I went over and introduced myself, and we had a really good conversation. And he said he looked at the directory, he loved it, he thought it was a great idea. And I could have been a bit disappointed that we didn't win in that. I mean, we came in the final 8 out of over 500 businesses, which is incredible within 2 years. But I think it's all focusing on the positive sometimes. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go home from here and, I could be disappointed, or I could put myself out there and actually speak to people that I would not normally get a chance to speak to, when I did. And, I've been so lucky to build up some amazing contacts from just actually meeting people, speaking to people, and he's played a vital role in our growth, and he's really given us some fantastic feedback. So, although it could be a disappointing situation, it was actually a brilliant situation. So that's another one there, where things don't probably go as you hope for.
But then something else happens and you're able to take advantage of it. I love that. And I guess the secret really here is not to spend so much time in the, oh, it didn't work. Yes, feel what you feel. But actually, it's possible also to just go, okay, that didn't work out. What did I learn from that? Is there a nugget here that I can take away? And make sure that's the learning from it. Because I think business is just one big learning and one big experiment. Some things work, some things don't.
Yeah, and
but some things don't act towards it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And some things work for a bit and then stop working, and you're like, what? Why? And it's because times change. There's other companies doing a similar thing. You have to adapt. And it's a really, really good thing in the end, because what happens ultimately, as I said, is you create something with multiple income streams. Like we spoke about the side hustles. Well, why can't you have 2? Why can't you have 3? Or, if you've got time for them. I mean, for me personally, all mine are through one platform, which is obviously my Bump to Baby. But there's no reason why you can't have a few different things to look after you when the other one's not going so well, or just to balance some things out. So perhaps you sat there today and you think, oh, what can I do next? Well, you don't need to make a decision to close your business. You don't need to do that. It's not working at the moment. Maybe it's not the month for it. Maybe it's not the week for it. But there is something out there that could probably help when those times aren't working, and you can kind of flip between the two.
Yeah, very much so. I love that. And so what would be, because I'm mindful of the time now,
yes.
What would be a nugget of wisdom that you'd love to share before we close this up?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I've got any left. Nugget of wisdom, I would say. This is fairly boring, but very, very much needed. I would say before you decide you're going to invest in a business, because it's so easy to get carried away and think, right, I'm doing it. And you've made this massive announcement, you're doing it. And then you look at website costs and, product costs. And then you look at everything else and you think, oh shit, I'm not actually going to make any money. I've not got the money to invest. I would say, do research, make a list of, the 10 things that you need to get your business off the ground and look into it. Because the last thing you want to do, especially as a mom, is kind of throw yourself into something and almost you've invested in it. And then you've created the website, you've done this, you've done that. And then all of a sudden you've got no money to buy the products so it's just about, working out affordability and something else I'd say, I'm going to throw another one in there as well, is goal setting. Since I started doing that last year, I've actually written a review on the Ultimate Diary Planner, actually. I use that. It's amazing. It's a monthly kind of diary. And what you do at the beginning of the month is like targets achieved, what goals you want to achieve, what turnover you want to achieve. Since I've been doing that, I've smashed, obviously there's been targets that I haven't quite hit, but I have smashed my goals for this last year. And it's all about, setting those goals, but keep going back to those goals, keep revisiting them, even if it's a weekly thing that you do on a Monday night with a cup of tea, go over them and say, right, well, why didn't I hit that? And then, because I focused too much time on that, and then go back, revisit and get better and keep revisiting those goals. And if you're not hitting them, it's not a bad thing. It's just meaning that you're improving, constantly improving.
Beautiful, Carla. Thank you so much. Really appreciate our today's chat. And so if somebody wants to get in contact with you, wants to have a look at this opportunity that you're talking about, wants to know more about your directory, where can they go?
So they can come and visit me on Instagram. I like doing Instagram stories. So it's Instagram and my name on there is @mybump2baby with a number 2. Or you can email me, Carla @mybump2baby.com. And as I said, it's a number 2. And just email me. I'd love to have a chat with any of you mums out there. Anything I can help with or support you with, happy to do so. So thank you very much for having me as well. I've loved it. As you can tell, I talk a lot. So it's quite nice. My husband just puts his headphones in, that's it. It's nice to actually have people that will listen. If there's still anyone listening by this time.
Oh, Carla, of course they are. Well, I hope so, because I've really enjoyed it. I love your vibe. I love how you show up. And I'm sure everybody listened to the podcast episode today would have done too. So there you have it. Another amazing episode. And thank you so much, Carla. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been lovely. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. And I'll speak to you soon then.
All right. Until the next time. Bye-bye for now.
Yes, bye-bye.
And there you have it. Another wonderful episode of The Joy of Being. If you loved what you heard here today and it's been helpful, why not subscribe or share the podcast with others? And if you're curious as to how you can experience more joy in your life and feel carefree, then I invite you to download your Joy Catalyst scorecard at www.marinapearson.com/scorecard, which will help you identify the joy gaps and what you can do to fill them. And remember, you can find me on Instagram at Marina Pearson or my Facebook group, The Joy of Being. So until next week's episode, remember, you are the joy you seek.